Hi, I'm Ryan West, and we're at Dungeon Beach in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. You remember back in the day when, in order to get a synth tone or a bass tone, you had to have all these crazy cables and modules, and you had to be like an electrical engineer? Neither do I. That was before my time. However, there's been a great resurgence lately in that kind of technology. So today, we're going to take a look at a really cool plugin from Softube called, ironically, Modular. Let's take a look. The first thing that you're going to notice when you open up Modular as a plugin inside your DAW is that you have the opportunity to add modules in whatever order you like. Mixers, VCOs, VCAs, VCFs, ADSR modules, and these all do different things and they operate in different orders. And we're going to help you demystify how you might start setting up your own patches. The first thing you're going to want to do is add a MIDI to CV module. CV stands for control voltage. What's basically happening here is it's going to convert your virtual MIDI from your keyboard or your controller into virtual control voltage. That control voltage is then going to go on to trigger other modules. So now that you have your MIDI to CV, which is your controlling module, you need to add something to control, and that's going to be your VCO, or your voltage controlled oscillator. That's the thing that generates the tone. So if you're not familiar with modular synth technology, one of the most important things to know about this VCO module is that on the bottom, you're going to see a couple of funny shapes. You have the choice between 4 different waveforms, and going from left to right, you can choose from a saw waveform, to a square, to a triangle, or a sine. If you have any experience with building synth patches in any different kind of synthesizer, then you're going to be familiar with these. You usually have a little knob you can select which, but in this case, we're going to use a cable from module to module to select exactly which waveform we want. So to get started with this, from your MIDI to CV module, you're going to connect the note patch to the CV1 input. That's basically sending the note control value into the VCO module. The next thing that you're going to want to add after the VCO is a filter, and of course that's the VCF here. The filter is really just a way you can shape the tone that you're creating with the VCO. On the VCF module, you have 5 filter options. You have the 6 dB low pass, 12 dB low pass, 24 dB low pass, 48 dB low pass, and then of course you have a band pass. And what you're going to do is you're going to select the waveform that you want from your VCO module and put it into the audio in. Don't worry that you don't hear anything yet because we haven't really connected anything to our outputs. First, there's a couple things that we want to add still. I want to be able to shape the envelope of my tone. That means I want to add a VCA. And to control that VCA, I need an ADSR. So now that you have your VCA and your ADSR modules up, you're going to want to take the chosen filter output from your VCF and go into the input on your VCA module. Next, you'll take the output from your VCA and go to the main synth output. Those are the 2 main outputs that are labeled left and right in the center of the modular plugin. Now you're going to hear magical tone. But don't worry, we're going to add some more control value stuff so that you can actually play this thing. I'm going to go ahead and take the gain value down on the VCA's output, and I'm going to raise the CV value. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the output of the ADSR module and go to the CV in on the VCA module. There's one more step. You need to take the gate output of the MIDI to CV and send it into the gate input of the ADSR module. Don't worry, we're going to explain this a little bit more in detail later. Just to clarify, make sure that on your VCA module that your static gain is all the way down at absolute 0 and that your CV is all the way up on stun at 10. So let's do kind of like a little summary about how we set all this up. We started with our MIDI to CV module, which of course is just translating your MIDI data or whatever's coming from your MIDI controller or keyboard into control voltage or virtual control voltage. That is information that these modules can understand. So first we took the note output and we sent that into the control voltage input on our first VCO module. We chose the waveform, and in this case it was a square waveform, and sent its output to the audio input on the next module, which was the VCF. The VCF's output, and you can choose whichever filter that you use, was sent to the input on the VCA module. That's the voltage control amplifier. The output of the voltage control amplifier, of course, is going to go to the main output. That's where you get your sound from. But we also wanted to be able to tell the VCA module what the heck was going on. Who does that? That's the ADSR module. The ADSR module also needs to know that there's a note value coming in. So of course we sent our gate output from our MIDI to CV module to the gate input on the ADSR. That is the whole chain. So why was modular synth technology so revolutionary and so popular in the 60s? Unlimited creative freedom. That's why it's regaining in its popularity today All these different modules offer you almost endless options to create sounds that maybe no one's ever even heard before. Sounds that work just for you, just for the production that you're working on. So dive in, have fun, be creative. See you next time.